So what's up, guys? John from heavysettactical. Today we're going to pop out one of the greatest folding knives known to mankind. One of the most sought after. That's the Reeve Sebenza large. Couldn't find a really good camera angle, and my new camera stand has been wobbling a little bit. I live in a big old house. So we're going to set the box aside. That's what comes, and this is all from DLT Trading. That is where I did order my Sebenza. So what we're going to look at real fast is some information that you get in a pamphlet. Really cool pamphlet. So again, this is the CPM Magnacut. CPM Magnacut drop point. 6114V titanium, glass blasted. Not sure why my camera's shaking so much. Natural canvas micarta, and then November 21st, 2023. So this is a very recent finished product. You also get a map of what you get for tools. All the parts are numbered here, and where they go for disassembly. Looks complicated. It's a very uncomplicated knife. June 2000, Reeve Knives exhibited the first time as a fully fledged manufacturer at Blade Show, blah, 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 blah. Some, you know, how the company started, the info there. Then a pretty cool reverse sticker, so it's meant to put on something in the CR in white. But it does have the timeline here of what was going on. The Manufacturer Quality Award that they received from 2000, 2001, 23 to 2013, 2015, 2016, and 2019. So let's put this mumbo jumbo away. I'm going to sit down in my little chair, and we're going to check this knife out. So in the box you get your Allen key for disassembling. You get some Loctite, and you get some of Reeve's fluorinated grease. Some of their net weight 5 gram Reeve grease, which I'm a big fan for all my folders. I use nano oil. This is a 10 weight nano oil with a really nice dropper, so I prefer that. So you take the knife out, set everything to the side. Comes in a really great Reeve's microfiber cloth. And here we go. I'm going to flip this cloth over for the sake of displaying the Reeve logo a little bit there. And this is the Reeve Sebenza. Reeve Sebenza 31 large in Magnacut steel. Super sharp toothy edge. The finish on this knife is exquisite. It is a single lug, comes with a lanyard. This is the natural micarta, canvas micarta inlays. Mine over the past week has broken pretty good. Now, that is because I took it apart and buffed out my bronze washers, and I lube it up pretty regularly. But what's funny about tolerances, you take this Benchmade, and there's a lot of room on either side of the blade. This Reeve's is in there. There is no room to play in there. No wiggle room in there. It is extremely, as far as this gap here where the knife sits, extremely, extremely thin. Dead straight. You can look at the point. Dead center. What an excellent setup. And it does have the ceramic ball in the lock there. So that ball sits like that in a little small chamber. And then you can see the ball right there. Clicks in. So that ball sits right on that point there when you have the knife open. No lock rock of any kind. This thing is as solid as a tank. It's like an old vault. This thing is completely solid. No blade play of any kind. No scraping. Perfect centered. I think I got one of the... You know, I've heard some people have some issues with theirs, but mine, really, I've not had any problems with it recently. It's been a good buy. So I'm going to pause the video just for a second. I'll be right back. Okay, so real quick, I just want to go over some specs. I have found a couple different sites have a few different specs that are off by a little bit. So we're going to talk about just overall specs. The overall length is 8.4 inches from tip to tip. So real quick, I'm just going to put it next to a few. This is the full-size Adamas. And then we have a Spyderco PM2. Classic. So it's about the size of a paramilitary too. And then my third one, we have a Cold Steel AD10. These are the only ones I have out on my desk here. Cold Steel AD10. So, roughly the size of a paramilitary 2, which is my favorite kind of large fixed blade size. So from tip to tip, 8.4 inches. The closed length is 4.79 inches from end to end. The blade length is 3.61 inches. 3.6 inches, 6.1. The blade thickness is a 0.12 inch. That's 0.12 inches is the thickness, or 3.05 millimeters. The steel is Magnacut. This is their drop point configuration. I really love the Chris Reeve Tonto versions, so I might grab this same one in a Magnacut Tonto. Now this is my first Chris Reeve knife, so it was definitely an exciting buy. I got it for myself for Christmas. It is bead blasted titanium, and this is the micarta inlay, natural micarta inlay. It's a frame lock, and the weight is 4.7 ounces, made in the USA. All of Chris Reeve knives are made at their factory in Idaho. So we're just kind of going to BS for a minute. I'm going to sit down. So one of my favorite things about Chris Reeve knives is the smooth action on them is really nice. A lot of people talk about glass on glass is how the action feels. Mine's just got a little bit of grime in there. I'm going to get that out. I've been carrying this for 7 days. It's an extremely comfortable, enjoyable carry. It's starting to break loose a little bit on opening and closing. I slow roll it most of the time. Has that really nice click in. So one thing I will mention about the handle that's a little funny is because of that cutout for the thumb, you know, for the release here, the frame lock, is my trigger finger wants to sit right in there and hold it back here a little bit. Even though they have that nice chamfered out area right here, which would appear to be held like this in a hammer grip, which is comfortable. But when I'm just holding it, if I have my finger up here against that little cutout, it always wants to go from here to seated into that. So I'm not sure if it's meant to be like that. It kind of makes your hands sit back far a little bit, but you can choke up on it real nice. It's a very comfortable knife, very comfortable carry. To be honest with you, I did what a lot of people I'm sure do, and I bought this knife, and when I got it, I was like, oh my god, it's so tight. It was like unenjoyably tight. And then it really loosened up on day 3, started to break loose. It's still pretty tight, but you know, these are different tolerances and a different type of build than a lot of knives. This is not on bearings. This is on bronze washer. Excuse me, bronze washers. So it's a very tight fit. It does not have the ball bearings to roll on. It's essentially metal on metal for opening and closing in there and rubbing. So it's meant to be, you know, it's meant to be a beautiful piece, but it's also built to work. You know, Sebenza work. It's built to work. And it looks excellent. These micarta inlays are really nice. So when I got it, you know, a part of me was like, oh man, did I really, I'll go over price then, but did I really just spend $700 on this knife? You know, for a folding knife, that's extremely expensive. The most expensive folding knife before that I had was either the Benchmade Adamas full size or the Formax. I don't even think I can thumb flick this one right now. The Formax Elite was like 400, I think, 350, and this one was like 350. So they were some of the more expensive folders that I had at the time, and the action on this has really became super buttery. But for some reason, the Adamas just doesn't tickle my fancy. So I got the Adamas, and right now I'm going to put in the description, I'm going to put a link to the DLT Trading website. You guys know I love DLT Trading. I buy 90% of my channel testing knives and my personal knives off of DLT Trading. I love those guys. They always get, I live in central Pennsylvania area, and they always get it to me in 4 days. Just super quick. No BS. I've never gotten the wrong knife from them. Never had any of the issues that I had using Blade HQ. But that was just surrounding one knife. Since then, I've tried Blade HQ out for a few things, and I haven't had any issues. Plus, just like DLT Trading, Blade HQ answers the phone every time I call and have questions about a return status or anything like that. So DLT Trading's my favorite. Always gonna be. Every time I'm looking for a specific fixed blade for my channel, and most of the time a folder that I'm looking for, but every time I'm looking for a fixed blade for my channel, I find that thing hiding. Even if it hasn't been made for years, I find it hiding on DLT Trading. So one of the other kind of complaints that's been a notable thing is this. The lanyard pin that's, you can see here, is not screwed in. It's just pinned in on either side. So when you pop these scales apart and disassemble this knife, you can just take it right out. It just sits in between the scales, right in those holes. It has play in it, so it rattles pretty loud. Now, when I'm carrying it in my pocket, I don't notice it. But if I'm flicking it open or holding it, it definitely rattles like super loud. So I think it's funny. I really like how it sits, you know, kind of shooting upwards like a dovetail. You know, it's a really good looking way to have a lanyard on your pocket knife. I'm not a big lanyard guy for my pocket knives. I think the only one that I put a lanyard on was the Benchmade Bug Out, because it was just small and it was nice to pull out of my pocket. Now, that being said, I've been tolerating that rattling because I enjoy being able to pull this out of my pocket. It's a really nice thin profiled knife to carry. And again, this is the large. They have a small version that's, you know, a 75% version of this. But yeah, so right now, I'm going to keep the lanyard on, I guess. I like it. So, make a long story short, this was a ridiculous purchase for me. You know, folding knives, I will spend $1,500, $1,000, you know, $1,200 on a folding knife, no problem. If it's for my, you know, if it's one of my Grail knives. TRC Apocalypse that I got, that was almost 600. That was a great Grail knife. I have for 700 or 800, I got a, which I'm going to be doing a video on. It's on the way here. I got a really cool 1911. It's a, goodness gracious, Dark Timber 1911. I've been looking for one of those. That's a Grail knife. But for a folder, you know, to spend $650 is what they're on DLT Trading for right now. Let me just show you. So this is the one that I purchased. Reeve Sebenza 31. Glass bead blasted natural micarta inlay. This is the large. $650 plus tax. So, you know, it was just under 700. It was like 684, 694, something like that. Is it worth it? Well, I think it's only worth it if it's worth it to you to pay that much. I think you can get some fantastic folding knives these days for the $300 range that are, you know, just as good of steel, M390 Magnacut, some sort of high-end stainless, and you can get really nice titanium folders these days, like the, you know, the Spidey Chef by Spyderco. Some different Microtech folders I think are very worth $300. So, you know, it was worth it to me. This is a Grail knife for me. This is one I'm carrying and using for sure. It's not like I'm going to buy it and keep it in a case. I don't do that with any of my knives. But this is a knife that I've wanted for some time, and it's really paying off, to be honest with you. It's a fantastic knife. Fantastic make, and I'm really happy with it. So with that, guys, I'm going to close up my Chris Reeve kind of informal unboxing video and rant. I just wanted to give you guys a closer look at this guy and really just let you know what my thoughts were on it. But I'm really liking it. They have a very unique finish on their blades that is just really awesome. Another thing, it's kind of annoying that it only comes with one thumb stud on the dominant hand side. The lefties come with it on this side. I guess the righties come with it on this side. They do make left-hand versions of these knives. Particularly, they're usually a little cheaper. Like I said, it's still a little tight. But yeah, I've really been enjoying this quite some time. So we're going to do a breakdown and prep video for what to do with a new one. This week I'm going to do it and show you what I buffed out to make it that much smoother, because it's pretty smooth right now. And I know a lot of people don't have that same experience. So guys, thank you so much for watching and listening to my rant. Thank you so much for all the likes and subscribes and things like that. I appreciate you guys very much. I hope that you guys had a great holiday, great Christmas time, and have a really safe and great New Year's Day. So, like always, guys, stay safe and stay heavy.